Amamiya Mirei is amazing for practically every game mode in solo leveling Arise because her damage is just that good. And for you to obtain this high level amounts of damage, you're going to want to be using the 8 set effect of Burning Curse, because not only can this give you up to a 50% damage increase after 100 seconds has passed in the stage that you are playing, but the other main benefit of this set is basically just the fact that you can get a huge amount of total power for your Mirei, which means when you do come to use her in the Baron Workshop of Brilliant Light and especially on hard mode, you'll be able to meet the TP requirements a lot easier. However, for your point scoring game modes like your Guild Boss and also your Power of Destruction, going for the 4 set effect of Burning Curse for the 30% damage increase, and then pairing that with the 4 set effect of the Expert set to give you up to a 160% attack increase is going to give you way more damage than you could normally do. But then another really good alternative set is also going to be the newly buffed Outstanding ability for its now 60% damage increase when you are above 40% of your maximum mana, which is also going to be very, very good for Mirei. And then when it comes to all of her main stats, for her helmet, gloves, and also her ring, you're going to want to go for either additional attack or attack percent, because of course Mirei is an attack scaling DPS. The other really important pieces are going to be her bracelet, which you'll definitely want to go for wind damage percent, and is going to be a must-have because obviously she's of the wind element. And then for her boot main stat, you're going to want to use the critical hit damage main stat, not only just for its huge amount of damage that it's going to give you, but also the fact that it is going to give you a huge amount of extra total power as well. And this main stat is also really beneficial for Mirei because in Mirei's kit, her weapon and like her advancements, it's really easy to make her crit, so increasing your crit damage as high as possible is going to give you a lot more damage. And then for Mirei's substats, they're going to be very similar to a lot of other attack scaling DPSs because her 2 crit stats in critical hit rate and also critical hit damage, as well as also your 2 attack substats being additional attack and also attack percent, those 4 are going to give you the most amount of damage. But where Mirei does actually differ from other attack scaling DPSs is the fact that she does actually want a really high amount of additional mana points. And this is because on her A0 passive, she can increase her attack stat by 4% for every 150 additional mana points that she does have, which can go up to 40%. Cores are up next, and the most important core piece for your Amamiya Mirei is going to be her mind piece, which you'll definitely want to use the Nameless Demon's Deception, because this can give you a free 20% increase in your critical hit damage of your basic skills for 8 seconds after you do use your ultimate skill. And this is going to be a lot better than the other choice because pretty much all of Mirei's damage does come from her basic skills, and like I said before, it is extremely easy for you to crit with Mirei, so this is going to easily be your best choice. For the body passive, it doesn't necessarily matter too much which one you go for, so either or can be fine of giving yourself a shield or just 10% damage reduction. And then finally for the spirit piece, me personally, I do prefer to go for the Nameless Demon's Magisphere for the extra amount of mana points that you can restore to yourself after using your ultimate skill, just because keeping your mana up as high as you possibly can is just so important on your Mirei, so I feel like overall for me, I think that's the better choice. And then for all of your core stats, pretty much on all of your substats for your cores, just go for critical hit damage on literally everything because you can get so much extra critical hit damage from doing so. And then the only really important main stat for your cores is going to be on your mind piece, because if you go for additional attack, you can pretty much get almost up to 4,000 extra attack, which is going to give you a huge amount of extra damage. And then also with Mirei being your main DPS on your teams, it pretty much also does mean you're going to want to have as many advancements on her as you possibly can, because things like her A1 just make her a lot more consistent in doing a lot more damage, because pretty much the first part of it says when you have your ultimate buff active, you can just get a free 20% increase in both of your crit stats, which is going to make critting with her extremely easy, as well as also when you use your first basic skill, you can apply Deep Darkness, which will increase your attack and critical hit rate by 12% as well, which can stack twice, so pretty much through this alone you can get over 40% critical hit rate, which is just stupid. And then things like her A3 as well are fantastic because you can decrease the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds, which can make it a lot more spammable, as well as also it does allow you to charge your mana points and also power gauge a lot easier. And then her final advancements like her A4 can give you up to a 30% wind damage increase, and then her A5 pretty much almost just doubles her damage because she can apply the Raven's Confession buff, which pretty much just increases the damage of her basic skills by 80%, which is just going to give you way more damage than you normally could. And also her skill level priority is also pretty self-explanatory because her 2 basic skills are going to be the most important ones, with her first one being more important because I believe it does charge her power gauge, so it's going to be the one you want to use as much as possible. And then from then on, because she also does use a lot of her core attacks and basic attacks as well to reduce the cooldown of her ultimate skill, those are going to also be very important. And then when it comes to the rest of her skills, it doesn't really matter too much, but the main 4 are going to be your 2 basic skills and also your core attack and also your basic attacks. Like I said before, Mirei is very easy to crit crit with, and this is because of her exclusive weapon, which is Bunny Bun Bun. And this weapon can instantly charge her power gauge by up to 60%, so it allows her to get her ultimate much faster. But the main important part of this passive is the fact that you can increase the critical hit rate and critical hit damage of both of her 2 basic skills by 30%, which overall does mean that you are going to need quite a lot of investment for your Mirei to make her work to her max potential, of course. But trust me, it is definitely worth it and is something you're going to want to do, because once you have all of the buffs that she does apply to herself, you can pretty much guarantee a crit on literally every bit of damage that you deal, so you can just do way more damage than a lot of other DPSs in the game. And then when it comes to all of the teams that Mirei can actually be used in, she can only really be used in the Mono Wind team, which consists of her, of course, alongside the likes of Wu Jinchul and also Han Seimi. And your Wu Jinchul is pretty much here just to play the role of your breaker in your team, because he does have a lot of break damage through his basic skills, his basic attacks, his core attacks, you name it, because through things like his A3 he can spam a lot of skills and core attacks, so that's where you're going to get a lot of your break damage from. But also his exclusive weapon, Another Level, also does give your team a lot more damage, because when the enemy enters the break state, all of your team members' wind damage can increase by up to 12%, which is completely permanent, so he can also support your team's damage as well. And then with Han Seimi being a healer, of course she does apply a huge amount of healing to her entire team, especially through her lifeline buff, but she also does a really good job in increasing your teammates' mana points, because she can completely restore your team's mana, which is going to be very good. And also she does apply some really valuable damage increasing buffs through her advancements as well. And then as for your shadows on this team, there's a couple options you could go for, with overall the best option being Big Rock, because Big Rock benefits your entire team's basic skill damage by up to 12% now, thanks to his general ranking. And because characters like Mirei do rely on basic skills to do pretty much all of her damage, this is going to be a very valuable increase for you to have. But also with the brand new Beru, who also now increases your entire team's attack and critical hit damage by up to 5%, he can also be very good as well, just because he does increase 2 stats as opposed to 1. And as for your other shadows on your team, of course, Serbi the Cerberus is easily the best supportive shadow in the game still, because of the permanent combustion debuff that he does apply. And then also Iron is fantastic, because the Mono Wind team doesn't really have a way to decrease your enemy's defense, so the fact that Iron can do this means it's going to give him a lot of value on your Mono Wind team. And then finally, when it just comes to actually how you do use your Mirei, it's very simple, because pretty much all you do is just make sure that you get all of your buffs through your Wu Jinchul in breaking an enemy, as well as also using your Han Seimi's buffs as well to give your Mirei as much damage as possible. And then pretty much you just bring Mirei in, press her ultimate as often as you possibly can, and then just spam her basic skills as much as you possibly can as well, whilst using your basic attacks and also core attacks to reduce all of your skill cooldowns as fast as you possibly can. So there you have it. Amamiya Mirei is still absolutely amazing for pretty much anything in the game. And overall, if you did enjoy this video or you just found it useful in general, then don't forget to like and subscribe and click the link down below to support me as a creator. And of course, as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace!